So what's your favorite sports team? And what would you pay if you could actually go and visit where your teams play, not during a game, mind you, but be able to go behind the scenes, see all the rooms you don't normally see, locker rooms, training facilities? What would that be worth to you? Well, this week, we're going to go tour the Royals Stadium in Kansas City. I'm Jeffrey, and you're watching Destination Debrief. So I should probably start with, I'm not the biggest sports fan. I'm not the guy that knows every single player, what each team has done, what their standings are, and, who's going to be going after the big game this year. But even so, I still enjoy going to a game here and there. But the strange thing was, it was really different being inside the stadium when there wasn't a game going on and the place was just empty. It's almost like you were in an old abandoned mansion or something that's decaying and nobody's been there in years. That says something about Kaufman since it's decaying a little bit too. But just walking around a place that's usually packed when you're there and there was nobody around, it just kind of had this weird eerie sense. It's for reasons like that, I felt like I was sneaking around like somewhere I wasn't supposed to be. It was almost like any second, security might come around the corner and be like, "What are you doing here?" They have 3 different options for their tour. That $15 one only being about 75 minutes. And there's a mid-tier tour. That one's $25 and about 90 minutes. And then there's the $35 tour, which is a full 2 hours. Each tour builds on the one before it. So you have the classic tour, then the all-star tour that has the classic tour plus a little bit more, and then the MVP tour, which is everything they have available. And for $35, it's not bad.
We're getting ready to go on the Triple Crown suites. These are our most expensive suites we have in the stadium. And they're named after the Triple Crown. The Triple Crown, if you don't know what that is, that's in a particular year, you have to have the best batting average, most home runs, and most RBIs.
There's a number of places you go on the tour that you'll actually see when you're at a game as well. So when you're out in the stands, there's also the Hall of Fame that you can go into anytime you go to a game. And even though some of these places like the Hall of Fame are areas you can get to during a game, it was still kind of interesting being there with nobody else around, because normally this place would probably be packed because if it's hot outside, this area is air conditioned and everyone has access to it. So with less people around, it made it easier to kind of peruse everything in the Hall of Fame without, being jostled around by everyone else around you. And to have a good time walking around the Hall of Fame, you don't actually need to be a huge sports fan. I might be able to name 1 or 2 athletes that are playing for the Royals right now. Salvi, anyone? But again, I don't know if he's still playing or not. But an extra aspect of this was the fact that the Royals are currently in talks to build a new stadium in downtown Kansas City. And I believe their hopes are to be up and running by 2028. So that means there's only a handful of years left to actually see Kauffman Stadium before it's gone. So for any sports fans or even just people that are interested in kind of seeing the behind the scenes of Royal Stadium, this is probably a good thing to check out while it's still around. Listen to me, I'm going to be one of those old timers being like, "I remember when this stadium was over here. You youngins don't know anything about the way it used to be." But that's going to be what the Royal Stadium is when they build a new one and everyone's remembering back in the heyday of Kaufman. Going to like the announcer's booth or where the journalists go sit when they're talking about what's happening during the game were interesting. But then there's other places like the locker room, which just felt like we weren't supposed to be there, which was funny. There was actually a line around the lockers that we were specifically told, "Don't step past this line." And they kind of looked at me because I was carrying on the camera. He's like, "Go get your shots, but stay on this side of the line." But probably one of the coolest things is we got to go down into the dugouts. We didn't get to walk out onto the field. That's another thing we were told not to do while we were down there. So I tried to get some shots the best I could. But being down in the dugout, sitting and standing where the players stand during a game was actually pretty cool.
Just me, huh? Okay, there you go. I was like, come on, it can't be me. Someone else got to do it.
I actually don't know if every stadium does something like this or not, but it's something that I think anybody should probably add this to the potential list of things to do. But having toured the stadium, I really felt like going to a game too. And this was a great game to have gone to because they had something like 3 or 4 home runs, which I don't think I usually go to games where there's a whole lot of those. speaking of stadium tours, did you know that you can also go behind the scenes at the Kansas City Chiefs Stadium, the most recent Super Bowl winner? To see more on that, check out this video.